Retotech Ralph is proudly sponsored by my friends at One Click Print. However you want your prints, they offer quality and premium service on a variety of materials. Visit them at oneclickprint.com.
Hi guys, Retotech Ralph here. Right, board games. I love playing board games. Play any, Scrabble, Monopoly. There's a few different unboxings on the channel if you want to have a look at what I've been using playing before. This is something you may not, I haven't heard of. Game of the Road, the AA something. It took me eye on this because one, I used to do a lot of courier work, and I thought two, this looks very interesting, the sort of layout, and maybe there's deliveries or whatever, but it's not. It's actually, I think it's to do with recovering game cars and in the game, and yeah, there's certain bits. So your boards like this. What gets me a little bit is the layout. Is if these are meant to be the motorway networks, one, there isn't one that runs on the bottom, unless that's the one past Stonehenge, and that's the A5, A6. There's no Birmingham apparently, and round here where I am at Sheffield is possibly around about there, but what loop comes around here? There's the M1 that should come up from London, and it doesn't. M4. Alright, this is me being a little pedantic, but this is not about this. I'll open it up for you anyway to show you inside, just for giggles' sake, shall we say. It's actually, okay, it's actually not in bad condition, to be honest, this. So it comes with a game board, it comes with instructions, it comes with all sorts of bits, little AA card, hazard card, very much like normal everyday board games. However, the seller on this did sell me 5 red pieces and all of the actual cars. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cars here, and you do have 4 yellow AA vans. Now, this is the reason I have got this bag here. You have a yellow car there, you have a yellow car there, right? That's meant to be what the guys thought, yeah, these lost the pieces. So I am separated these for one single reason. I'm going to make myself, okay, I need to make myself a yellow car, a red triangle, which went in there anyway, which you could still use for it. But there was also parts in here that I'm missing as well. There's actually 1 red, which is missing, and 2 green that I'm missing. So those extra parts, these actually want to go in here, but I'm going to use these, that, and that as templates to try and resin myself 4 new parts. Actually 5 new parts, so I need 2 of these green ones anyway. So what I want to do, see, I have to, these are what I need to replace. Yellow car, red triangle. This is the difficult part of this, is making a car out of resin is simple enough. I just need to get something to make a mould of this with, which should be easy enough. I can't make a hollow one, although otherwise yeah, I haven't got an injection moulding machine or whatever. The triangle on this is going to be a pain in the backside. These counters are going to be dead easy. So all I need to do is get some sort of putty, some sort of clay, some sort of maybe even a silicone mould made for 1, 2, 3, 4, and another green. So I can basically make 3 of these, 1 car, 1 triangle. Now my plan is, the car should be easy enough. I can put in some sort of mould, upside down, force out, because I've got lots of detail work on here and the AA on top. I can force this into something to make an impression of a mould, then pour in resin on top of it. The triangle, I'm going to use this red counter here, trying to force this into some like plasticine or something, up to the level of where this triangle is, and have this alongside it, inside the mould, while I pour the resin. And I'm getting used to some sort of resin work, because I'm actually quite enjoying it. But to do this sort of stuff is easy. Granted, it will all be, at the end of this, clear, unless I put some colour in inside the resin. I think we'll leave it clear and then I'll paint them afterwards. That would seem to be the easiest solution. So I need one of those, 2 of those. That's why he's given me 2 smaller ones. 1 of those. That's why he's given me 1 of those. Yes. Right. Let's see if I can find something. Now I have actually got some modelling clay. Got this off of Amazon for about £2, I think it was. And yeah, it should be good enough to do this with. So what we're going to do is try and get some of this modelling clay out and maybe make an impression of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces, and try and mix some resin. I've got some resin from the Doctor Who screwdriver, so we have something I can play around with. I don't know whether or not using a piece is a good idea, or whether or not it's not enough. I think it's not enough, so I'm going to mix black and brown together just because I'm awkward. Just I want something bigger to do. So I'm going to mix this together. Hopefully this should be enough to give me a nice lump to at least make a couple of moulds for the resin. It is clay, it's not plasticine apparently, which I don't understand. It does smell like plasticine. So even if it is or isn't, I don't know. We'll see what's what really. So I'm going to mix this together and try and make some sort of mould, and then we can start pouring something and try and actually replace parts instead of using generic counters. What somebody else has done. Yeah. Now I've actually decided to mix in quite a lot of plasticine at the same time. Modelling clay. It does say modelling clay, but I don't think it actually is. So with it as flat as I can possibly and thick as I can possibly get away with, because I need it to be a little bit of a well to do the things anyway, is I'm going to start off with so I need it thicker for that one, don't I? So I'm going to push this into, and I need to go all the way past the tyres, and that's not thick enough. If you look at this one a little bit, and I haven't done it in the middle, have I? It's actually coming out of the bottom there, so it's actually not thicker than I want. So see, there's AA stickers on the top of the roof right there, which I'm now regretting my choice of colour because I can't get the red off the actual proper. There we go, it's better. So I need to carry on mixing this a little bit and make a nice thicker one. So I might actually mix all of the plasticine together, so and get a nice big blob so I can do as much as I possibly can. This will get thrown in the bin afterwards anyway, unless I'm going to make some sort of modelling thing with it. I don't know. There we go, that's better. I'll probably just get it as mixed as humanly possible, because this is now quite sturdy at the moment. It needs to be a little bit warm to get, but it's actually sticking to my hands a little bit. So I've got this piece of plastic pipe used as a rolling pin. So at the moment, that's actually not doing too bad. I'll make sure there's no air underneath this. Is that thicker than that? Yes, it is. So as long as I can get everything done and put into place with the plasticine we've got, and I can pour everything in one go. So fold, squash, roll. Yes, this is a tech channel and I'm playing with plasticine. That's fine. Anything usually goes on this channel anyway, so that's fine. While I'm here anyway, like, subscribe, share on social media, yada yada. Please donate and help the channel as much as you can. It really helps out. Oh, look at this here. This is now going to a lovely shade of brown, like all colours seem to do. Right, so I can get that over there. A bit of white in there. It's coming through. So I'm continuing to mix as best I can. I mean, that will be thick enough, except I know there's a bit in the middle which is kind of not that good. There probably is a couple of air bubbles inside here, which I need to avoid quite a lot. So once it's getting warmer, see, it's turning into an interesting colour. The most bar exercise I've done on this channel. Right, so maybe we can get that as the flat base there and then roll like that. So I need the thicker bit to do the taxi, but I also need to go in a little bit further as well with that bit. So, all being well, the taxi now should, it is quite thick. Is it as thick as this? I don't know whether it is or not. It will bubble over, I'm sure it will. So let's get that right in the middle where it's thickest. So the problem is the wheels. That won't help. The wheels being up there. I need to attempt to make something wrapped around it with the wheel impression on it. So this is kind of, I don't know. Let's see what we can do, shall we? Has it gone through? This hasn't gone through, so at least we still have got a mould sort of thing. But I need to make something higher up on certain parts that will mould the wheels. I mean, this one, the actual triangle bit, let's see, it's not going too much. The problem with this is one side of the triangle will be have the pattern and the other side won't. Squash that in. Trying to get below the line, but on line with the line, should we say. I think that might be enough. I need to do 3 of these, so one over it. No, that's actually not flat. I have to do 3 over here. Force it in best we can, just so it's on line with everything. Forcing again. I do need a third. So if I can find another red that goes in there. Put the edges over. It's not flat, this. It probably won't work. There's that. So that was going further. Screwdriver on this. That's better. Now, my major problem now is I need to get all these counters and the pieces out of here and start pouring some resin. Tweezers, maybe. The taxi is going to be the major problem. So I don't want to destroy the parts I've got because that's nice. Because I need to. I'm still going to use those. So 1, 2, 3. Not gone too right. I'm getting there. Mould that back in place a little. Come on. Come on. Now it's destroying that edge there. So let's change tact a little. Somewhere else. No. Fix that edge. Now comes the problem. Is the taxi. Hopefully this will come out. And we have the AA in there, and we also have the top section as well, but a bit of plastic's come out of that. So it might not work. These are all tests anyway. Now what I actually want to properly do is use one of the smaller ones of these as the base for this. So I'll keep that on line with that and try and force this in here. I'll hopefully get the resin to bond to this piece here. Like that. So I'll keep that in place there. There will be some cutting out after on this. To tidy up the edges. Okay, so I've got 3 counters I need to fill in there. A taxi and a warning triangle. Okay, time to start mixing some resin. So resin I got from the last job I was doing. Let's start this scales off. Need to do a 1-to-1 mixture of resin. So we'll go part A, epoxy resin. Let's have a measure out of this, see what we can do. I don't need too much of this. And to be honest, last time I did this, I absolutely filled everything with it. So we'll do 10 grams of each, shall we? Yeah, there's 10. Is that enough? It's not enough. So I'm going to do 20 grams of each. It's gone down to 8. There will be heat off of this when it's made. 18. A lot of people will put resin in separate pots. I don't see the point in that, because you have to mix them in afterwards anyway. Come on, you bugger. That's got to be 20. It just does not want to go up to 20. That's got to be 20 now. Hello? Well, this is fun, isn't it? There we go. Right, 20 grams of part A to 20 grams of hardener. See, the more hardener you put in, technically, the more harder it's going to be. So, way too much of this. It's not an exact science, resin. There we go. So that's a 1-to-1 mix. So now I need to mix this as much as I possibly can, or as long as I can, and then I'll start pouring. The only problem is going to be with this is, like I said, there's two. The warning triangle is not going to be patterned on one side, and the taxi is going to be full. Actually, to be honest, the taxi has got a gap there it's going to come out with. Oh well, we're not going to be perfect, but we knew this from the start. I mean, this is the start of doing this sort of work, which is quite fun to do, but it's also, yeah, a problem. So you need to mix as much as you possibly can before we start pouring. It's not going to be too much of a problem about ever getting air bubbles inside this thing, so it's not going to be, yeah, I won't be showing anything, because what's going to happen afterwards is I'm going to be painting them. I mean, this is obvious for any sort of game piece that you're missing. You can do this with anything. If you're missing a dog from Monopoly, unless you've got one, or a little figure or something, you want to make a plastic one out of something that's on the mantelpiece, or some other thing you've got. You don't want to possibly keep the original in the Monopoly box, shall we say, then, yeah, anything you want, just to this sort of scale. So as much mixing as you can. There's only a small amount here anyway, but as much mixing as possibly. If I was doing this so I could show you without any bubbles in, I would pour this from a height to make a stream inside each one of these. There's no point, again, because it's just going to be painted. So it's fine so far. Maybe a little bit more mixing. Some paper here just in case. Which I say when I cover everything in resin. Very, very mixed. Make sure everything's mixed in properly. Otherwise you may have problems. I'm going to stick that to one side for a second while I start to pour. Now, shall we pour on the side here? Okay. Very steady. There is a lot of air inside here. I don't really care about that. Pouring in. I don't know what the reaction is going to be with this. Oh, there's too much on that. The reaction of the resin may really gone bad, hasn't it? Yeah, how much I've got bloody left. Right. The reaction of the resin may melt the plasticine, the clay, but I don't know. There's far too much on that, so that's going to have to need to be mopped down. Maybe I can do that instead. This is going to mess. The thinner it is, the better it's going to be. However, I think I need a bit more in the car, but it's kind of dribbling out the back. Yeah, build up a little bit. Put a little wall. This is a mess. This is an absolute mess, but we're going to have to see what happens with this. Whether or not, I will have to cut out certain bits, but with it being that thin, it's possibly not going to be much of an issue. So I could be in luck. So let's let this dry, let this harden, and we'll come back to this later and see if we need to carry on with this. Right, the pieces have dried overnight. I'm not entirely convinced this has worked, to be honest. I don't think the tax is deep enough to get the wheels. I don't think the triangle has stuck itself to that pin, and these three is overkill on it. But what I've done is, I haven't peeled this off from the actual cutting board yet, but there was a lot of resin that I dribbled out over down here. If I could show you a little bit better, I'm going to have to be over there because it's stuck. Yeah, it's dribbled out here, and it's overkill on that sort of thing. But what I can do, it only got the basic shape, I can faff and play, and we go better. And actually stand down, because these have been painted anyway. I haven't done anything major. There's bits and bats stuck to the bench, which I can scrape off eventually anyway, but let's see if I can pull these out. Hopefully this should come out okay. That doesn't look good to start with. Hold on though. Okay, so I will need to sand down a little bit. Plasticine coming off. Yeah, I mean, it's not very good, but it is just a blob. So I'm going to have to cut round, sand round to make that one a bit better. The best one out of the lot was probably this bottom one here. But I don't think the plasticine is actually any good for doing moulds like this. It seems to have a little bit. I'm not quite sure. I do like a blue tack, so I can dab this on that to bring all that off, but it's still a counterpiece that I can sand round at least. Third one then. I mean, I know these go, when the resin cures, it does create a lot of heat, but it's not bonded itself to the plasticine. This is modelling clay, but I don't know. That's probably the better one out of the lot of them. It's still, yeah, we've just got to bear with on this one, shall we? And the original one's that thick. It's not far off. Just wants a little bit of cleaning up, sanding. It's a tiny bit bigger, but that will come when I sand this round and then clean up. Right, let's go for the taxi. Now this is going to want some cutting out, definitely. I want to try and be careful because I don't think that's going to come out right. I think that's going to snap. Oh, should I take that one first? Okay. Now if that's done anything, I'll be impressed. Okay, more rubbish. No, actually, I think maybe okay. I mean, the wheels, definition of the wheels are definitely gone, but I think we have an AA. Okay, so potentially this might have worked. The top section might be absolutely perfectly fine. So rub down a little bit more. Yeah, it's not brilliant, but it is potentially, I can do something with that. Yeah. Last one. Now this is going to be the tricky one, because whether or not it's bonded to that or not, I don't know. Let's try and get rid of some plasticine. There's a lot of resin stuck in this as well. There that is. I had a lot of resin made afterwards anyway, so this is the part of the inside the bottle which yeah, didn't really come out. It actually looks like, if you watch Mandalorian, this looks like one of the calamari flans. If you don't watch Mandalorian, shame on you. Right, so this is slowly coming out. It looks like I might be in luck. Now I don't know how this is going to go under a tap, so I do need to clean this off. It has got the indentation on the other side, but whether or not I can keep it as is, I don't know. I'm just going to be careful pulling this one out. But I think, hopefully, under a tap, this might come off. There's a lot of flex on this as well. But the original one, there's a lot of flex anyway. So let me get these pieces under a tap, see if I can do something with these and clean them up and get back to you in a second. Okay, a lot of cleaning later, we're left with these 3 counters, which are all completely different shapes. But that's fine, because I'm going to sand these down to be flatter and more rounder, and cut off some of the flashing, which is fine. I can use them. The triangle is so thin, it's so flexible as well, but it did come off of a little pin on the bottom. But I've scratched that one, so it should adhere better when I put the glue in. So that shouldn't be a massive issue. Granted, the triangle doesn't look as clean as, but these are parts which are going to get cut off anyway, because it wants the outside triangle and the inside triangle taken off to be kind of looking like that. So we're not too bad at the minute. It's just it's wafer thin. I mean, it is wafer thin on here, but the resin doesn't seem to have dried rock solid. So we can work on that. And there's the car. Compare car. I don't know why it's got this little nub on the front, but I can cut that off. But on the top, we still do have the AA, which is good because the original has the AA and the light on the top. The bar on the front doesn't seem to have made it too well, but it's good enough for me to play with. I need to trim these down a little bit. Actually, I think the wheels might actually be on there. I need to mould them in. Okay. So that little lip on the back end of the car here, it's there. So I can mould that round. Front, yeah, I think they're there, you know. think I could potentially grind those into it. So this again, still got some more plasticine around there, modern clay, whatever it is they sold me on eBay or on Amazon, should I say. And yeah, we can work on this. Most of this will come off now with the sanding. I don't fully recommend using modelling clay, plasticine, whatever it was I'd used, because it's so sticky. Even using like a release spray inside before I put these in wouldn't have helped. So it's probably not the best option. If for a quick easy fix because you don't want to buy some silicone, then fine. But this needs a bit more fettling. It's not too bad, I don't think. You can even see the windscreen there, to be honest. But what I'm going to do is trim these up, clean them out, trim off the edges, sand off as much as I can to make these as flat and as near as, damn it, to... They're not far off there as it is. Size-wise, they're right anyway. So we'll just plod along, tidying these pieces up, and hopefully it should be okay. Now, with a lot of cleaning, sanding and fettling later, here they are. I know you can't see them there, that's really not fair. I'll put these alongside the actual parts themselves that we want. No, let's zoom in a bit more then. See, they're not brilliant, but these especially, you can't buy these. I know there's somebody on eBay selling a few of these triangles, and I was tempted to buy, but I didn't want a full set 5 when I only got 1. So the car, I have no chance with the wheels, absolutely 0 chance. So the car for the car, triangle. I have left a couple of pieces of plasticine on a couple of these pieces because the actual mould didn't do that well. So yeah, because I'm going to put that on the bottom of there. So that for there, that for there. It's like that one there is a lot of plasticine on it. So it's just filling in holes. It should be perfectly fine to paint over. But there we go. I don't, like I said before, I don't recommend using this. It's too sticky. It's not too easy to use. Probably use a silicone if you can, but they're only small little filler pieces. If you've got something like this, yeah, it's good to try something like this with the tininess of these pieces. And I'm not making a production line or anything, so it's just one-off sort of thing, just to show you exactly what you can do. So I need to get some paint out, get these painted on. This probably glued onto there first, and all I need is trying to find a green, a red, and a yellow paint to match these. Now I'm all set to paint. The triangle is stuck to there quite well now. Super glued it on. That should be enough. If not, I'll try that later. We'll start off with the yellow. Now, as you see, I've got a yellow, red, and a green. Also, a dark green and a white. The reason for that is my green isn't the right shade of green, so I'm going to have to darken it down a little bit. And the yellow, it wants a little bit lightening. The red actually isn't too bad. It's actually a lot more brighter than the actual coin itself, the thing itself. So what I'm going to do, I think that's an old one, yep, is with the yellow, I'm just going to dab out a little bit. See, these are all old paints anyway, so I'll get you in on this one for the first. There we go. I'm going to unintentionally dab out a bit of yellow there. I need some tissue. I really should do this live, to be honest. But, you know, I'm going a little bit of white. Not much, just to lighten this up just a little tiny bit. So it's closer to that colour. It's not enough. So let's go a lot more. Just mixing to suit. Not bad, it's a little bit paler yellow than I thought I'd want. But I think that's probably good and matches what I'm going to get. I'm not that good at matching, so let's keep that as is. So, easy to do, paint. The only problem going to be is the second coat, which I will definitely need a second coat. I've got to mix and match again. So, it can be quite rough with the first coat. Not too much over the top. Make sure you rub over as best you possibly can into the gaps, into the lines, but not too much on your first coat, otherwise you'll just fill them and all your details gone. And I'll try and touch the top there and try and paint on here. The back end here, there is an underside I can't actually do, so I'll have to do that later. There's more than enough paint there to do one coat on here. And I want that AA symbol on the top to be quite prominent, so I don't want to put too much paint on the top. Anyway, too much on there, just brush it off a little bit. Yes, it doesn't look that good at present, and there we go. However, the second coat will easily sort that out. Not too bad a match, I don't think. It won't be anyway. But this is, like I said, this is the first coat. Could probably done with an undercoat underneath it. But I think we've got away with that okay. So, what I'm going to do, same thing again, the red will go on the counters and the triangle, and I have to mix the green, same way as we've done that. Bit of this green, bit of that green, and all being well, this should be quite good for a first coat. First coat is on. Biggest problem I have is I haven't got the green. I can't mix the green. I'm kind of thinking I've got this metallic one which might actually work better, which is a bit closer, but that might brighten a little bit with a little bit of that. But first coat, this is going to be, the reds isn't bad. The triangle itself is pretty good. I can't show the edge. There you go. That's the painted one, that's the original, so I can grab hold of it. The yellow on this one, yes, it needs more colour on there, that's not a problem. Same as the reds, I need to do the other side. Red's going to be easy anyway, because the red is a good match for it. It's just that green, it's way out. But this is the first coat, and I can continue with that, so I'm going to do second coat underneath side, because I don't think that needs much underneath in. Well, maybe a little bit, but it stuck to my finger. There we go. But yeah, we'll carry on painting these off camera, and should be pretty good. The counters itself are alright as they are, and the little figures and stuff, so I'm quite enough happy with that, except for that green. I just can't get. Here's a mixing palette over here, like yellow, white, green. That it doesn't seem to mix right. So we'll figure something out, and we'll put something in, and we'll get that green properly green. But like I say, it's only one piece, so we'll get away with it quite easily, I think. Now, we're back to the game board pieces. It's been a few weeks, I've got other things to do in life and whatever else, but we're back to doing these. These have all had the last coats of paint. These are going to be fine, to be honest. I mean, if you listen to the change in my voice, I've got a cold, not COVID, that's fine. So we've basically got two to replace the two we're missing, the red ones here. I'll get you a little bit closer in just so you can see and move this pad around. Yeah, it's not bad. They're a little bit more glossy than the matte plastic, but I haven't got any plastic to actually create anything with. Yeah, the green never really got to be green. That's fine. I'm actually quite happy with the triangle. Yes, again, it's glossy, but still, it's a little bit flexible. I think that probably is anyway, because it's whatever plastic. It's just getting pieces together. Even the taxi doesn't look that bad. Well, not taxi, sorry, bright yellow. It looks like that, but it's the AA van, which is fine. It's still got the AA you can see on the top there, as well as the original one. I mean, obviously it's not hollow, but it does help out a little bit. If you're missing stuff like this out in your games, then it's a small solution to try and do stuff like this. I mean, it's not impossible. I mean, the block of plasticine after a few weeks has now gone quite rigid, and it's a lot of a lot of resin still stuck in there. So I think this is probably wasted anyway. It's strange how when you mix lots of colours together, it kind of merges together to get kind of a greeny, browny, purpley colour. Yeah, but that's out of the way. But it's a simple idea to do stuff like this. You're back on the game, you're back doing whatever. I mean, you could probably make nice little things for your Monopoly.
make ones for, I'd probably say you probably could Scrabble as well. You could just pour out little imprint and then do a square and then pencil in the letter that you're missing. There's loads of different things. I mean, I know there's a lot of your board game stuff is there's tons of stuff out there, your older stuff. I don't think you can actually make a full cage for Mousetrap, but you could possibly have a go at it. But you'd probably need the original to copy from, like I've done here. So, like I say, original, copy. Yes, they don't look exactly the same, but this is just to play a game with. But, yeah, I'm quite happy with this. It will do me to play with. So, yeah, done, sorted. If I could get the right colour green, I would have been better, been more happier, but yes, it is green. So basically the green side, yeah, you've now got the full amount of pieces. So these are just suggestions for you. If you can get better ways of doing this yourself, please tell me. Please comment in the comments below. And if you've got a better way, please. I will try this again, and we'll do something else. That's not a problem. I mean, I think the guy who was selling these on eBay, I think they've probably been sold by now, but I'm not going to replace them. I'll just keep with that. That's fine. That's perfectly fine for me. I mean, God knows how the actual game works. The AA, what is it now? Game of the Road, AA. We will have a try at it now we've got the right amount of pieces there. So, with that in mind, thank you for watching. I hope it's given you an idea. Ah, no, I've lost one. I'll have to make another one. Yeah, like and subscribe, follow me on social media, send a message, send a whatever if you want to be part of the channel, then please, all the links, Patreon links are all down below, and I'll see you in another video. Bye for now. So just for the end of the video here, counters back in the middle there. Nice pink dice, I didn't realise that. I assume this was red and it's faded quite a lot. Okay, and yeah, that doesn't fit. It does fit, it will fit, it's going in, no matter what. Okay. Yeah, the peg at the bottom is a lot thicker, so it's not going to fit properly. And the two AA vans, it looks, with me looking at the camera, with the screen on the side of it, it looks perfectly fine to me. So we will play this, we will have a faff, and we will get the game piece, game board, even though the roads don't match up anything in reality. So, done, sorted, happy. Back to playing, not restoring, not selling for a fortune, look at me with the original pieces, but just to play the game. Thank you for watching.